Morning everybody, welcome back to Trinity Dairy. Today is October 25th, 2025. Absolutely beautiful morning. Sun is out, clear sky, little breeze, just an amazing morning. But anyway, a few projects I'm going to try to get into today. Nothing set in stone. We have some heifers we need to get moved out of the dairy barn, the little calf pens, up into the bigger barn, so I got to get that bedded up. Get the trailer hooked up, get them moved. We'll probably get some video of that. We got a clean barn today. Me and the boys cleaned some by hand, the gutters, because I don't have the manure pipe back together yet. So at least when this is being filmed anyway. I don't know if we'll have it back together or not when this airs, but so I can't use my trash pump or anything because right now the manure will just run out the hole. So yeah, the gutters are full. We're gonna have to clean some of that. I've also been working on the Uni here. I'll show you what I've got going on there. Let me flip you around here. So this thing had a power steering line leaking right towards the end of harvest last year along the frame. And it's got steel lines that run along the frame. It looks like one of them just rusted out. So I was going to pull the lines out and just replace them with just a rubber line. But I went to start this thing and it would crank and crank and crank and would not fire. So I pulled the fuel line off the carburetor and crank it over, was getting absolutely no fuel. The gauge says it's got just under half a tank, and the gauge has always been accurate. So I unhooked the line off the fuel pump here, cranked it, wouldn't push out anything. It seemed like I had fuel in this line when I unhooked the hose, so I thought the pump was bad. So pulled the pump out, which was an absolute nightmare because this hydraulic pump is in the way, and the way this was put in order to pull this hydraulic pump bracket out of here, from what I can tell, I would have to probably pull the radiator, because the way they put this bolt in, the bolt has to come out that way and it hits the radiator. Hits the shroud, but I don't know if you can get the shroud out of there without getting the radiator out, and the whole big process. But anyway, I did get the pump out of there, hooked a hose on it, stuck it in a can of gas, pumped the lever, and it pumped just great. So I thought, well, I got a problem with my filter or something here. So I struggled around, put it back in. Instead of hooking it up to the tank, I run a hose off of here into a full can of gas, cranked it over, wouldn't pump anything. So I had an electric pump. I just temporarily tapped onto here. I wouldn't not pull anything out of here, put it in a can of gas, pumped the carburetor full, and it fired right up. So I don't know. I got to pull this fuel filter housing off and see if that's plugged or something's going on. I'm not sure what. So I don't know if I have two issues, if the line is plugged and the pump is weak, excuse me, or what's going on. But I'm not going to pull that pump out again, at least not right now, because that was kind of a disaster. I might just put the electric pump on here if I can get fuel coming out of here, and we'll just run it with the electric pump. Just make sure I got it tucked out of the way so it's away from the exhaust here anyway. But so I'm going to be working on this some today. I don't know if I'll get much footage of that because it's hard to get in here and get video, tight quarters as it is. But so we'll see what happens. But anyway, we're going to work on moving them heifers. That's something that I need to get done today. And I also need to get this done because it won't be long. Our corn will be, excuse me, ready to pick. And I also have a friend of mine needs a little bit of corn picked for some high moisture corn that he's going to put in the end of his silage bag. So I got to get her going. So we'll see if we can get that done today. So the straw Paul's got, that's the stuff, the oat straw that we chopped, excuse me, last year and put in the bag. Spread it out a little, but this stuff works really nice. I'm not going to bed it too extremely heavy to start with because there's not a huge number of calves coming in here, so they'll have plenty with what they got here. Alright, well, I'm going to go put the stock trailer on the Oliver, and we'll get some calves loaded up.
Dina's halter broke, so I figured I'd just lead her up here.
Back a little more.
He's a $7 million bull rider. J.B. Mooney.
Bert, you want to go see how dirty the water is when you take the vacuum and clean that out?
You didn't tell me you were gonna kill it. Which I killed mine. Yeah. When they were like pumpkin innards.
Alright, so tracking down the fuel system on this Uni, I unhooked the fuel line under here, and I was able to blow through it all the way up to here, but from here to here wouldn't do anything. So I pulled this cover off, and there's this little deal here. I have no idea what it is, but I'm thinking it's some kind of like a fuel shutoff or a check valve of some kind, but it's hooked up. So when you turn the key on, you can hear it click. So it works with the key. See if I turn it on here. So you can hear that operating, but my guess is internally something is stuck. So I'm going to pull that out of there and see what's going on with that. Maybe that's our whole problem. I'm still not sure why the stock fuel pump wouldn't pump when I put the hose in the can, but we'll see, I guess. I don't think this is a pump, electric pump of any kind. It doesn't seem to be, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll get it out and see what it is. I'm sure some of you probably know, but I'm kind of new to the whole Uni system. So we'll get it off of there and see what we got. Oh, I think I figured out some of my issue here. Not 100%. But when I hooked the electric fuel pump up to here, it wouldn't pull any fuel. Well, my issue with that, I think, was that that's an electronic valve. When I pulled it off, it's got a name on the side of it. That appears to be working, because when the key's off, I can't blow through it, and when I turn the key on, I can blow through it. When I was hooking up that electric pump, I didn't have the key on, so that was closed. So I think that's my issue there. So we'll put that back in and check that, and then see if we can get fuel down there to the electric pump. At least get the system primed. Maybe we'll hook it back up to the mechanical pump and see what's going on. So, but yeah, I think that was my issue. So if you have one of these and it's stumping you, there's an electronic shutoff on there. I'm guessing that must be for if there's some kind of a fire in here. When you shut the key off, it can't pump any more fuel out of the tank, which is a good idea. Just as soon keep it in there. But if I was going to put in an electric fuel pump, I'm almost wondering if it wouldn't be a better idea to put the electric fuel pump up here in place of that, because I think that would do the same thing. If you shut the key off, it wouldn't be delivering fuel anymore. It would kind of act as the same thing, plus it would be your fuel pump. It would be up away from the exhaust and everything. So we'll see what happens. If I wind up putting in an electric fuel pump, maybe I'll stick it up here instead, because then I have my wires and everything right there to run it. But anyway, we're going to hook it back in and see if we can get fuel down where we need it. Well, I think we had a breakthrough. So I turned the key on and I hooked my little electric pump up to the line coming from the tank, and I ran it until it pulled fuel all the way through the filter and everything, which is what I couldn't get it to do yesterday when that shutoff was closed, obviously. So then I had fuel flowing here, so I hooked this back up to the regular diaphragm pump, cranked it over. Now it's pumping fuel out of here. So what I'm thinking happened is I'm thinking that shutoff up there was stuck. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to hook that line back up. I'm just going to leave this like it is temporarily so we can hook this all up and see if it runs. This piece of fuel hose needed to be replaced anyway because the old one was really, really crispy. So, all right, well, I got the hoses hooked up. That's all back coming out of the tank, so I think that's going to work now. I left it sit a while and let the gas dry up that was there so I don't start it on fire. I got the hydraulic hoses for the power steering. I had hoses made and I got them put in. I didn't get any video of that because it's pretty tight quarters down there, but I don't know, you can't even really see them, I guess. There's a new hose there. So they're not quite as tighty in there as the steel lines were, but they'll definitely work. So I'm going to fire this thing up, hopefully, and get it down to the garage. And I got some mouse nests I found I want to clean out and get it greased up and get it ready to go. Well, here's the heifers and dry cows. Just pulled this wagon out, took it out of the milk cow pasture. This is kind of what they've had left in there. This is actually from a couple days worth since it's been cleaned out, so there's more in here than should normally be in here, but stemmier stuff. But these girls will like it. And it's a good way to use it up instead of just pitch it out on the ground. So we'll let them chew at this for a while before we fill it up again for the milk cows. Welcome back, everybody. It's the next day. I just thought I'd pop in and check on these heifers that we moved up to this other barn yesterday. Seem like they're doing good. They got the bedding all spread out nice. They do about the best job of that when they're running around, but I don't hear anybody coughing or anything, so that's good. Sometimes when you get them out of the smaller pens and into a bigger area and they do a lot of running around, they can get themselves kind of sweated up and maybe get a little bit of a cough, but everybody sounds good in here, so that's good. What we're going to do today is these guys, I ran out of grain for them, so we're going to grind up some oats and ear corn for heifer feed, so we'll get some video of that and bring them up a bale of hay because they're getting low on their hay here. Get them taken care of. They got water here. We've got an automatic waterer in this building for them, so they got good fresh water all the time in here. So I got to get the 10 started up, get that warming up. I've got that running on the grinder mixer right now just because that's the tractor I had freed up, so we'll get a little video of that.
jar and decided to go a little bit red-green for pushing this old junk out of the way. It's working really good. Yep. All these heifers in the back. From in the back. Right now there's fresh ground feed coming.
Well, we're going to wrap up this video, I think, back here at the Uni. So we got it running good, and power steering seems to be working good now that I got those hoses done. I was going to go through and grease it all and get it oiled up, and I climbed in it to move it when it was by the garage, and I got looking at this wheel, and I noticed this kind of line, this rust line around here. Well, it's all cracked. The steel is actually cracked. Here it's the paint, but crack going up here. It goes almost all the way around. So that kind of put a halt on the corn I was going to pick that day. But we're gonna get it pulled off here and see if I can find a different rim locally. It's a 10 bolt 26-inch rim. I did find some online, but they were quite a ways away, so we'll see what we can find. I thought about trying to weld this, but I don't know. I get a little nervous about welding some of these higher stress pieces because sometimes that can make it more brittle and it'll just break off in a different spot. But we're going to get it off and see if we can get something done there. Well, I thought I'd come back quick and just show you we got it off. I probably would have been nice if I would have noticed that was cracked before I did the power steering hoses, because now with the wheel out of there, they're right here. So that would have been kind of nice, but oh well, we got it off there anyway. I was looking at the back side because it's a pretty thick piece of steel, but the crack is going all the way through. You can see it. So definitely would have not been good if that would have broke out in the field or any place, because if that would have broke out, it probably would have wound up dropping right on the header, and that would have been bad. But anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.
There's the boys' Halloween pumpkins. We got Jason, Josh, Justin, and Jordan. Could never guess that one was Justin, huh?